The thing I love the most about crypto is so much can change in just a 24-hour period. And what we have seen is massive changes within Cardano over the last 24 hours. And yes, this is somewhat alluding to price because price has been doing significantly well, but now we have to start looking at Cardano itself in a completely different manner. And we may have just been fast tracked on the way to adoption. And we're going to talk about that in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So looking at ADA price in general, still floating around like $1.03, $1.02, $1.05, kind of floating around in that range, right about our 7.0 line on our fib retracement level, trying to find some support up here and basically some more fuel to continue moving to the upside. And I'm going to be very curious to see what things look like as we get into the week, as activity heightens, as we start to see some of the bigger players in the space heat up and start to flow into charts. That is where, again, we can start to see ADA price move in a more significant way, even more significant than what we're experiencing right now, creating more short liquidations. Could be a very exciting price that we're talking about as the week gets underway. Now, this isn't to guarantee your financial advice or anything like that. I do just want to briefly talk about this. This may have been the best call I have ever made. Not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but this altcoin double bottom, like we were talking about, and will ADA move first? They both played out 100% right. And what we're seeing right now is ADA just kind of be the market leader. And this is bringing a lot of global optics to Cardano. What we're seeing is massive whale accumulations over the last 24 hours. We've seen 200 million ADA actually accumulated by whales. This is a very big deal. But what's, I think, even more interesting about this is now Cardano is in some very different discussions than we're used to hearing about. So this was actually a post that was done by Stake with Pride. I follow him on Twitter, tons of great posts throughout the bear market cycle into the bull. And what he basically retweeted was Frederick Grigard's post, who is part of the Cardano Foundation. And what he said was, just landed in the UAE to engage with local and global exchanges, discussing Cardano native assets and Cardano, reflecting on the last week at the World Economic Foundation, where I once again met with the executives from USDC Circle. They were transparent about their perspective on strategic fit, or rather the lack of it, with Cardano. Now, what I thought was very interesting here is Charles Hoskinson actually responded to this, said, I've got something else I'm working on for that one. Some people asked RLUSD, and then he said bigger, I think. And then Charles Hoskinson said the biggest. And what's interesting is now that Cardano is in this digital asset stockpile, this crypto reserves, you have to start looking at Cardano in a very different light. And what this means is the fast track to a major stablecoin, whether that's USDC, whether that's USDT, whether that's RLUSD. So actually being able to hold liquidity within the Cardano ecosystem, creating a safe haven for it, right? But then we also need to start talking about these discussions, We need to start having these discussions about Cardano native assets themselves. Because what we're now likely to see is, now that Cardano is looked at in a much more serious light, because of, again, digital asset stockpile, because of institutional players, because of other enterprises, we may actually be seeing a lot of Cardano native assets get listed on centralized exchanges. Now, that might not be a big deal to some people, but it's a lot bigger deal than what you think, because all the capital and liquidity that flows into a lot of these Cardano native assets is beneficial for the Cardano ecosystem, because that's capital that can flow back within Cardano. All right. Now, it's a big roundabout way of getting to this, but it takes time for these things to take off. And in fact, this may be that major launch moment for the Cardano ecosystem in general, not just ADA, not just ADA price. We're talking about the whole ecosystem in general. We're talking about daily active users. We're talking about TVL. We're talking about staking. We're talking about all the things Cardano. And the great news is that obviously we've gone through some major developments that have gotten us to this point, being able to handle and facilitate that. When we talk about perfect timing, I mean, it's perfect timing. You can't put it any better than that, right? Now, what I will say is, just looking at the total market cap of crypto in general, we've seen a significant surge back up to those levels like we talked about $3 trillion. And right now, we look like we're on the verge of potentially retesting the top of this trend, about $3.7 trillion. And now what we've witnessed is a little bit of shuffle in the crypto ecosystem. We have kind of readjusted the focus. And why I'm mentioning this is, if that focus is readjusted to the assets that are in the crypto strategic reserve, what you're talking about then is a new cycle high in terms of ADA, right? We're talking about, again, surging from 3.08 trillion to over 3.7 trillion. You're talking about a surge of over 20%. And frankly, a surge of over 20% for here in terms of ADA, yes, brings us again very close to those local highs. But where things really get interesting, excuse me, is that there's less ADA available in these higher liquidity levels because it's been bought and removed, bought and removed. People are having this longer term conviction. So frankly, this is how you get on that run to $1.50 to $1.50 to $2 ADA. Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that, but the problem is that, people that just look at charts, they are missing all the moving pieces. There is so much that's actually happening behind the scenes right now with LPs, with removal of supply, with potential of Cardano adoption. I mean, it all comes together to paint this beautiful picture of Cardano. And all I have to say is that, going back to this illustration that I made, I really hope that people weren't falling for this. I hope that people weren't getting, shook out by the tariff news, because what we were seeing was the smarter people in the space, the people that had the long-term mindset, they were accumulating, building their positions, because guess what? Cardano's making major moves right now. And there is going to come a point where this causes just a parabolic boom in terms of the price of ADA. The question is again, are you on board the train? Are you prepared for when this does in fact take place? So I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.